Well, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of the Avatar Face to Face. This is our weekly television show addressing the arts and culture of Westchester and New York and beyond. We're very fortunate today to have us another professional person who is part of the Afui Culture Organization, which is an arts and culture organization designed with a very similar message and mission as we here at Avatar Foundation. We've found that our relationship has been very fruitful and has matured in such a way that we've been able to combine not only what our missions dictate for each of our organizations, but to be able to share some of the expertise and the people associated with Afui culture as well as in the Avatar Foundation. And we're very fortunate today to have as our guest today Mr. Hughland Pitcan, who is one of the original founding members of the Afui Culture Organization. So welcome, Hughland, if I may call you that.
Yes, absolutely.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. We want to kind of begin our conversation, if you will, in a way that speaks to the Afui culture, the organization that you have found, and let's kind of look into what that organization does and how this we'll talk about the collaboration between both organizations. So give us a little bit about Afui culture, when it was founded, and give us some information you want to share about it.
Well, the Afui culture was founded out of a need to establish exactly who we are and what we do as a people within the society, and to show that there is sense of belonging, there's sense of acceptance, sense of appreciation, and we oftentimes don't take that time out to look at it. We tend to go about and say, well, we're just going to assimilate. But if you take culture, which it's ironically part of Afui culture,
Right.
And Afui just meaning in that vernacular, it's ours, and culture just all the elements that make us. That's what we are, and whether it's there on that island, or it's across in Europe, or it's here in America, it's that conglomeration of so many different things that make individuals, and that we identify with, and we see and we accept within each other. And to pick out the things in there that says, well, look, we're not lost in this effort. Right. And there's a sense of pride there. There's a sense of accomplishment. Mm-hmm. So in that organization, and we grew up here as well. So really, what is our culture? Right, our culture now became what we brought from there, and that we learn here as well, and that we put together, and we extend on to our family and the friends and everybody that we come in association with.
That's so important, because when we founded the Avatar Foundation, you cannot know someone without understanding their culture, their background.
Absolutely.
And it's rites and rituals and traditions. It's the food, it's the music, it's the folklore, all of that, and that's what we wanted to depict. Going forward, when we spoke about multiculturalism or multi-ethnicity, how do you address some of that? So we wanted to go directly into the essence of the culture and began to look at and identify those components that represent, again, the rites and rituals and traditions, and to be able to display that through then this cultural expression. So, we want to be able to taste the foods, we want to be able to dance to the dance and hear the folklore and understand what those components are that make this quote-unquote culture happen, and begin to share that on a global basis. And, I think you and I were speaking about it at some point, when the dust settles, who are we? There's no real difference in that. If you eat one dish and from one island, or you eat another dish from the States, and it's, come to find out it's all the same dish.
It's all the same.
But that was the essence of how we got founded, and I think really the kind of the underpinning of why we were able to come together at one sitting and understanding each one's mission, and just find the harmony in that, and to enable us just to kind of go forward as we kind of prepare for 2012, if you will, for this year, to address the 50th anniversary of independence, particularly for the country of Jamaica and Trinidad, although we are impacting on other countries within the Caribbean basin. So the Fui culture is alive and well and kind of kicking.
Absolutely.
So, tell us a little bit more about who you are and professionally what you do.
Well, I'm in sales management, with a major cable company within the tri-state area.
Okay.
My background, communications as well. Graduate, New York Institute of Technology, Communication Arts, and just making that effort throughout life. It's been that ambassador of experiences.
Right.
We look at certain things that have been there, that cultures have been sharing, been lending, sons and daughters. And we haven't. As you talk about your foundation and what we do, there is a ton load of material, if you will, in the DNA of the cultures. It's
right.
I mean, you can't fathom the amount of similarities that's there as you go back and forth. I mean, we take it way back to let's say Harry Belafonte and Marcus Garvey and their origins. Fonte originating here, going back there and coming back here. So that cross transference of cultures that's been happening. Up until recent times. We have the sad honoring of a son of Mount Vernon.
Right.
Heavy D. That he took it from there to here and became that icon and meshing all the cultures, and it's constantly there in the food, in the music, in the art,
right.
And you can see the distinct similarities. And it's not just, oftentimes we talk mainly on the African diasporal side.
Right,
but
okay.
We're not seeing that there are those other tie-ins as well from other cultures.
That's true.
From the Syrians, the Indians, the Europeans that's there that have its impact here. One of the matriarchs of the Tiffany, and everyone loves Tiffany jewelry. It's it's an icon. But one of the matriarchs there were from the Caribbean, was from Jamaica.
Okay.
So it's taking these things and understanding these things and saying that yes, well, it's good to be me. It's good to be what I represent. Instead of just saying, hey, it's not only about the dreads, man, and and bust a spliff.
Right,
it's not
right.
just that. It's more dynamic than that. And as your organization ties in with it, and we're displaying through for a culture, our events and our efforts
right.
shows multiculturalism across. And how do we understand that? That's through education. You spoke to individuals earlier that are steeped in education and guidance, and really we're all educators as well, being parents.
That's so
being
true.
members of the community.
Right.
So, it's to take that and show everyone that, hey, let's all be brothers. I had the fortune of being in the United States Army, and the wealth of experience that offered, and traveling around the country and being able to assimilate with the local folks there, and then you're seeing that, wow, there is no difference.
Right.
There is so much similarity going on a farm down in Macon, Georgia, and seeing that, wow, that farm shack that housed the whole family
right.
is right across the globe is similar.
That's right.
And for us to embrace that and say, hey, look, we're all one.
Right.
Which kind of goes back to the Jamaican motto, out of many, one people.
One people, absolutely. Well, that's extremely a good analogy of what's happening in terms of the need or direction that we're looking to do, we're going into, and that is really kind of to bring that whole essence of what you just spoke about to really the forefront, and to be able to do it in a way that captures people's imaginations through the art and culture. And that it's also really important to begin to look at that approach, but look at how vast that area is. And when you begin to look at the art and culture, out of that, there is a very strong not only identity of who one may be, but there is then the essence of its role in society. So it has really a far deeper role in terms of understanding who people are beyond who are you and here's who I am.
Absolutely.
And what our contributions are to society. And so coming out of that, looking at how we sit at the table and put that together. And I think what we've been able to do is to create a product called Carib Gold.
Absolutely.
Which is that opportunity to begin to take on the mission of a Fui culture, as well as address our particular mission and dealing with the multicultural and ethnicities that are involved. Because as I'm learning, being handheld through this experience of understanding the Caribbean culture, more so versus what I thought it may have been, to understanding what it really represents, gets to be then a much clearer view than the multi-ethnic aspects of a culture. So that we need to just be more educated and much more aware of how that happens.
Well, you see, the gold in Carib Gold is representative of the sun. And the sun sets on all cultures.
That's so true.
So
yeah.
there is that tie in there. So everything that radiance that emits from that gold, it's shining, it's warming everyone else. Mm-hmm. So if we share that warmth, we share everything else.
That's right. So in looking at our year-long calendar, we look to take an idea, to create a strategy that allows both of our strengths, if you will, to be able to present this culture not only in the city, but also here in Westchester County. There's a substantial Caribbean community here that doesn't really get the recognition, really doesn't get that kind of prominence that it deserves because of some of the whole social ills that we all experience. And, if you're not one or the other, then it's almost like you don't exist. But our particular approach was to begin to highlight that. Exactly. And to do it and through a celebration of art and culture, Caribbean art and culture, through the eyes of Carnival. Mm-hmm. So that we know it's very colorful. It embraces all of the different disciplines that fall within this industry called art and culture. But really what it says is that it's the expression of the people. Yes. So that's really kind of our direct connection here, is to present what we're talking about through the eyes of the people, to bring it back to the people. So kind of going forward, we're looking to create some major works that will be presented in the city, in Brooklyn, and what we will do is present the works of some of the fine artists, and do that through Westchester County, and begin to tie in a series of celebrations in the course of the year, some 6 or 7 different events that we're looking to produce that really kind of highlights, spotlights, and puts a real look into what these cultures represent.
Right.
You see, and our question has been also, how do you integrate that with what we understand here in this country?
Well, when you look into it, across the board, human beings, they gather around celebrations and dance and food and everything. So this is our respite throughout every culture. So what better way to do it? And I know it would sound, passe or cliche that, yeah, another carnival, another this. But everybody, every family is indulged in their everyday economic strife. So having these events is that escape.
That's true.
That immediate escape, and we see the postcards, we see the ads and so on of these far-reaching places, and we'd love to go there and to experience it, but oftentimes it's not an immediate reality. And as well, those that were fortunate to have been to experience, they would love to rekindle that. They would love to get back in touch. And here's the opportunity through these efforts. I was excited when I heard that, the collaboration of the Avatar Foundation and as well as a Full Culture, and seeing that their missions are so similar. So what better way to bridge that gap than these two powerhouses coming together and presenting and bringing everybody to make them mix and mingle, to experience and say, hey, yes, this is great, this is wonderful.
That's right.
I mean, it shows on the menu in many restaurants. You go to a Caribbean restaurant, you'll see macaroni and cheese. And
okay.
you see it in
rice and peas or someone else's menu, right?
Exactly.
Right.
So here it is that the people are coming together, and in fact, the people have been together through families.
Yes, they have. Through
cross marriage in other families, and just the children going together in the same school. Well, we walk home from school, we'd stop at Tony's and get a slice of pizza, and now Tony's have beef patties in there, or we go to a chicken joint and get some chicken and cornbread, or so it's there, it's been there. So now we're just bringing everybody together in the same spot, the same hall, the same venue, if you will, to say, look, here's what we've been doing, and these are the things that we appreciate. These are the things that we enjoy, and to find out that everyone enjoys it as well.
That's right. And I think when you begin to, from our perspective particularly, if we don't do this, then who's going to do it?
Absolutely.
And I think it's extremely important for those of us of the culture, of these mixed cultures, if you will, to begin to collaborate together to represent really what it is in the way that it should be represented. I mean, image is everything, if you will.
Yes.
And to be sure that we're not misrepresented in any kind of a negative way, but to really show the positivity about who we are and what it is that we do. Kind of as we are winding down, we want to begin to look at the whole approach to the concept we have as Carib Gold, and within that there is a Jamaican 50th celebration that will be happening, I think, at Eastwood Manor as part of a Fui culture.
Yes, August being the month of independence, we can look at that as month-long celebrations. Where we had the first this year for the 49th, and now we're looking for that big 5-0, if you will.
Yeah.
So August 4th, we're planning a celebration, and that we are, and that we've struggled along the way, and that we've arrived in fine style. And we want all the friends and families, everyone, not just limited to just Caribbean folks, but everybody, because again, that culture is shared. And we influence each other through music, through images, through everything, through history.
Yeah, it's interesting to say that, because I know you also have a background in audio, visual, and communications as well.
Yes.
And I want to just kind of take a quick minute to address that, because all of what you've just said, all of what's been said here, it's very important to be able to get that word out so that people understand that, So, from a professional perspective, what are some of the ways you can see of that happening?
Well, through the continued use, marketing efforts are there in print, in advertising, in television and radio, and the good old word of mouth.
Good word of mouth, that's right.
That let one event experience, and this is a year-long celebration. That there's many things that are going to be occurring that will eventually lead up to that big day in August. So there'll be magazine articles, there will be television programs such as this itself, being so important, and art shows and functions throughout the year. And you can check that on the Floriculture website, the calendar of events, and see all the wonderful things that lead up to.
Right.
And you can also experience all the initiatives that's there for education. Education, again, is not limited to just the young folks. It's for all, so that we know and we understand, who we are and what we are. And that is the study of history as well. Is how do you know who you are without knowing your past, and knowing what makes you up, and to feel proud about that. So there will be very much a macrame of events that's happening through the media as well, television, radio, and just good old local functions as well.
That's right, and to be able to spread the word. Well, that's very interesting. I mean, it was a nice conversation that we had. It was good to finally meet you. I mean, I've been hearing about you, and all the good work and stuff. And we got to take a hats off to Miss Antoinette Pitcan, who has been really kind of the driving force in making this relationship happen, but also kind of heading in the driving force behind the Afui culture. And it's extremely important that you, our listening audience, become aware of this fine organization, Afui, AFEWE culture, in terms of what it's doing, and to begin to look for information in terms of what we are doing. And the more of the we that we get into is the broader of the stretch and the inclusiveness of the people that make things happen. So as we begin to wind down our show, we can, for more information on us, we have the Avatar Foundation, AVITAR, Foundation of Westchester .org. Go on our website, take a look at the components that we concentrated on from our heritage perspective, from our Arts Alliance perspective, from our careers behind the scenes perspective, and our media. So you see, through this television show, this is a significant part of our media center. We can also be heard starting in January 2012, twice monthly, each second and fourth Fridays from 12 to 1 p.m. on WVOX. And we can be seen through WVIP HD2. So get your computer, tap in, WVOX.com, and watch us in the studio as we're broadcasting live with guests like Mr. Pitcan here and the other guests that you've seen on our show. And in closing, as we always say, the dream is in the mind of the believer and in the hands of the doer. And you're not given that dream without giving the means to make it happen. So with that, we ask you to have a good, safe weekend, to have a good day, and we will see you next week when we present another episode of Avatar Face to Face.